Hey, what's going on everyone, this is iReviews back with another video, and today I will show you guys 17 iPhone settings that you should never change. These are settings that are very important for the security, performance and privacy of your device. That way you should leave them the way they are and not change them at all. So here are 17 iPhone settings that you should never change. Starting off with the first setting is found under your Apple ID on the Settings app. So at the top of the Settings app, you will have your Apple ID there, enter there and then tap on Find My, and here we'll have like a few settings. So go to Find My iPhone. Right there you will have this add-on, of course, that you can find your iPhone, and then you will have here enable offline finding. This will allow you to find your iPhone with the Find My app even though your iPhone might be offline. So make sure you always have this enabled and by any means don't turn it off. Now, of course, sometimes we turn off some settings because they consume battery or decrease the performance of our device. But sometimes they are very important, so a lot of these settings should never be turned off. Like one that you can find under Privacy, Location Services, and down here if you go to System Services, you will find Emergency Call and SOS. Make sure you always have this on. Basically, in any case of emergency, your iPhone will send the location. So if you have this off, basically then the emergency call is useless. So for emergency calls and SOS, make sure you always have location on. With iOS 13, Apple has added a very nice feature called Low Data Mode. This can be found under the cellular settings. So go to the Settings app, Cellular, and then go to Cellular Options, and you will find here Low Data Mode, and make sure you always have this enabled. So what this does is that whenever you have this enabled, like tasks that are performed on the background, automatic updates and like photo synchronizations, all that will be turned off. That way, if you're on your data, it won't consume as much data like updating apps and all that automatically in the background. So make sure you always have low data mode on. Another setting that is found under the cellular settings is called Wi-Fi Assist. Now I see a lot of people have different opinions on this, but I suggest you should always leave this on. Now what this does is that whenever you have like a poor connectivity to your Wi-Fi network, it will automatically switch to the cellular data. Now it does that because when your iPhone is trying to stay connected to a poor connectivity on a Wi-Fi network, it will consume a ton of battery. That way, this will make it switch automatically to the cellular data. Now, of course, cellular data also consumes battery, but not as much as a poor connectivity to a Wi-Fi network. The next setting we're talking about is found under Face ID and Passcode and is called Require Attention for Face ID. This will require your full attention. You should be focused on your iPhone in order to unlock it. Basically, this will make your iPhone more secure. If you disable this, your iPhone can be unlocked even if you're not paying full attention to your phone using your Face ID. That way, make sure you always have this on. And we have some other settings right here. For Face ID and Passcode, you will have here at the top, Unlock iPhone, use for iTunes and App Store, Apple Pay, also password autofill. Make sure you always have these enabled because everything is more secure if you use your Face ID or even your Touch ID. So make sure you have all these four at the top enabled all the time. A very neat feature on iOS is the emergency SOS. Basically, this can save your life. It will call the emergency for you in case of an accident. But make sure you always have auto call enabled here within the emergency SOS settings. Now this is enabled by default, but of course you should make sure that you never turn this off, because basically if you turn this off, then this feature is useless. If it doesn't auto call, you don't need this feature at all, so make sure you always have this enabled. With iOS 13, Apple has added a very cool new feature under the battery settings. It's called, of course, optimized battery charging. Make sure you always leave this enabled. I've seen a lot of people turn this off because they just want to have their iPhone all the time charged at 100%. This is a very underrated feature of iOS. This will make the iPhone's battery last very long. Not like it will last like for a few days, but the lifespan of the battery of your iPhone will be much longer if you use this feature. So make sure you always have optimized battery charging turned on. Within the Safari settings, you have a few settings here that you should always leave enabled. So one of them is block pop-ups. Of course, you don't want to have pop-ups showing up on websites when browsing the web with Safari. So make sure you always have this on. And another one right here, prevent cross-site tracking. Make sure you never change this option right here. So basically, you don't want to have like websites tracking you side to side like ads and all that, so make sure you always have this enabled in order to have a better experience browsing Safari. Under the iTunes and App Store settings, there are a few settings here that you can change as well, one of them being automatic downloads on cellular data. Now of course you don't want to change this setting, it will be turned off, so leave it that way. Basically, if you have like a low data plan, limited data plan, all that stuff, you don't want App Store to download app updates and apps, all that, without you knowing that it's downloading them on cellular data. So make sure you disable it right here, and of course that you can continue to do all the updates and download when you're connected to a Wi-Fi network. Also, you will have here upload unused apps. Make sure you leave this on. Now what this does is that it will save a ton of space on your device by deleting apps that you're not using. So of course we install a ton of apps on our devices, and a lot of them we don't even use for a long time or maybe even never. So what this feature will do is that it will delete those apps from your device, but it will keep their data. So if you have like an app that you have some data on it, it will delete it, but if you need that app back, you go ahead and install it from the App Store and you will have still all the data right there. So what this will do is only save space by removing apps that you are not using. So make sure you never change this setting. If you go to your settings and go to general, you will find here background app refresh. Now if you go to background app refresh, you will have a few options right here. Now of course you can completely turn it off, and you will have here Wi-Fi. What this means is that it will only do background app refresh when you're connected to Wi-Fi, not Wi-Fi and cellular data. So make sure you always leave it right here at Wi-Fi and never change it. Basically, you're connected to your data and you don't have a lot of data, or you have a limited plan. You don't want apps to refresh on the background and of course consume a ton of your data. So make sure you always leave it right here at Wi-Fi, so it only will refresh the apps on the background when your device is connected to a Wi-Fi network. If you go on the settings app and you go to the camera settings, you will find here record video, and if you go right here, of course you will have a ton of like different options, different resolutions that you can choose for your videos. Now until now, all the iPhones, the best like resolution that they can play is like 1080p. So make sure you always leave this setting right here at 1080p. Don't change it at 4K if you're not playing your videos like on a computer or on a 4K screen. You're just using them on your iPhone, on like Apple devices and stuff. You don't really need 4K. All that will do is just consume a ton of space on your device. You will notice the difference, like a video on 4K will be much bigger than a video on 1080p. So that way it will just take a ton of space on your device, so you don't need that. Of course, make sure you always use 1080p, of course, if you're not using your videos outside of your iPhone. When you go to the privacy settings on your device and go to location services, you will have a ton of apps here, of course, that require you to let them use your location. Now, the best thing right here is that you will have a new option which is called Ask Next Time. Now, always leave this at Ask Next Time. There are a ton of apps that you might need the location services for like one use, and then you don't need it. You don't want to leave it always on, that it consumes a ton of battery and decreases the performance of your device. Make sure you always leave it right here and never change it. Ask Next Time every time you use that app. Of course, this is for apps that you don't use regularly and you don't use them on daily basis. Just leave them on Ask Next Time, and you will just give permission or not the next time it will ask you. The next setting is found under display and brightness. Right here we'll find auto lock. Make sure you always use auto lock. Keeping it at never will put your device, of course, at a huge risk. So you forget your device somewhere and it is unlocked, then everyone can access your stuff right here. or of course you leave it maybe on your house, you're on your house, but you leave it on a table somewhere, you leave it unlocked, it will just consume the battery. By just choosing 30 seconds or even a minute, it will of course automatically lock. That way it will make your device much safer. Also, it will save your battery. And last but not least is a setting found under accessibility, display and text size right here, auto brightness. Always use auto brightness. Now of course I have this turned off right now because of the video, but always use auto brightness. I always do it, and it's a really great feature. Of course it will just adjust the brightness of the screen based on the ambient light, and that way it will save your eyes as well as the battery of your iPhone. I've seen most people don't use it, they just like turn up all the brightness all the way up, and that's really bad for your eyes and of course bad for the battery of your iPhone. So that's it for this video, guys. These are 17 iPhone settings that I suggest you should never change. Of course, in order to make your device more secure, perform better, and of course, save your privacy. So that's basically it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and enjoyed these tips, and hopefully they will help you out. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys on the next one.